Hampden Park in beautiful Glasgow, Scotland, as it's time for one of our featured attractions of the evening, the IBF Junior Welterweight World Championship. Prepare to welcome the boxers as they make their way to the ring. First, ladies and gentlemen, here is tonight's challenger, undefeated from England, Junior Witter.
This is quite a story. Junior Witter from Bradford, coming in at 9 days' notice. He wouldn't be in the top 3 light welterweights in Britain, never mind the world. But the British champion, Jason Rowland, who was due to be the challenger here, injured a knee in training. So Witter takes this fight, and he's a very, very self-confident young showman with an eccentric style. There's something of the Nassim Hamed about him, and he's from the same Sheffield Brendan Ingle camp, isn't he?
Yes, he is, and you're really, for a challenge like this, what you really need is a lot of confidence, because when you're going in with somebody who's very, very good, very proven track record, one of the things that can get you is your lack of self-belief. Well, for Junior Witter's sake, he's got plenty of that, so that should help him to try and bring the very best out of himself.
15 wins, 2 draws, no defeats, his record so far. He feels that people have been avoiding him. He hasn't had the paydays, and I think he's absolutely relishing this chance to move on the big stage. Seems to be loving it.
Yes, well, he certainly enjoyed the press conference and everything that went along with it, enjoying his little bit of limelight, his little time.
Junior Witter from Bradford. Can he operate in the Premiership like the football team from that city?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the ring. Here is the undefeated world champion from the United States, Zab Judah.
Let's go.
Here comes Zab Judah, making his first defense of the IBF's Light Welterweight Championship. From Brooklyn, New York. Brash, precocious, slick, and much talked about in world boxing circles, though he's not a name really that transcends the sport. Not like his big mate, Mike Tyson. Not yet, anyway.
No, he's not, but he's making the right sort of noises. He's winning the right type of fights. Had a very good win over Mickey Ward that we saw here, beating Shane Neary. So, he's coming along well. He's got very good skills, a good puncher. So we're really looking forward to see him here.
Trained by his father, Yoel, who was a 6 times world kickboxing champion. Just like Tyson, he got into a few fights on the streets of New York in his youth, but all that aggression was channeled into the boxing ring, and Mike Tyson has had sessions with him and told him, look, don't make the mistakes I made along the way. And he looks on Tyson as a kind of father figure. Zab Judah, I'm looking forward to seeing him, I must say. Here's the tail of the tape tonight. Judah only 22, Witter's 26. He's slightly the taller man, but it's Judah who has the distinctive reach advantage. Long arm, both inside the 10-stone weight limit. Witter made his debut 3 years ago, Judah 4 years ago. Judah's had more fights. Witter's had a few more rounds. Judah, though, is powerful as well as fast. Witter hasn't looked a puncher so far, except on rare occasions, but Junior Witter tonight is threatening to steal the show.
Tyson, so what? I'm the man. I'm going to do my thing. And at the end of the night, Tyson will win. Big deal. The main upset will be that I just took the whole world by storm, beat Zab Judah, boxed him outside, and win his belt.
Judah won't be impressed by that. He regards Witter's style as something akin to a clown. He says, if you want to be a clown, go to the circus. So you'll understand that we've got something of a spicy build-up between these two to this fight. It threatens to be very interesting, to say the least, as we join MC Jimmy Lennon.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to go with this World Championship attraction coming your way, brought to you courtesy of Frank Warren's Sports Network in association with Main Events and Showtime Championship Boxing, as sponsored by Fight Time 2001 and Promote Classic. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the International Boxing Federation. The president is Hiawatha Knight Supervisor in Attendance, Benedetto Montella. This is along with the British Boxing Board of Control. The chairman and steward in charge is Lord Brooks of Tremorfa. Introducing to you our three judges scoring the bout from ringside. From New York, George Colon. From Wolverhampton, England, John Coyle. From Naples, Italy, Vittorio Urso. And introducing to you our referee in charge of the action from Kent, England, Roy Francis. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Junior Welterweight Championship of the World. Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, entering the ring wearing silver trunks with black trim, fighting out of Sheffield by way of Bradford, England. He weighed in at a ready 9 stone, 13 1/4 pounds, or 139 1/4 US pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with 15 wins, no losses, 2 draws, with 4 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the undefeated challenger, introducing Junior Witter.
Goodness me, a real exchange between them there.
Ready to fight on my right, out of the red corner, wearing black trunks with red and white trim, fighting out of Brooklyn, New York in the United States. His weight 9 stone, 13 3/4 pounds, or 139 3/4 US pounds. He also is undefeated in his campaign with 22 wins, no losses, 1 no contest, with 17 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the IBF Junior Welterweight Champion of the World, Zab Super Judah.
Now, this is what happened when Witter was introduced to the crowd, and he got a real warning from Roy Francis. Look, the flip, and he ends up right in Judah's face. Oh, there's the first round before it starts. Don't do that, says Roy Francis.
Well, it just shows the confidence of Junior Witter. He's really up for this.
Roy Francis, who refereed the first Tyson fight in Britain against Julius Francis. Now, how can Junior Witter acquit himself here against this super talent from New York, who won the title against Jan Bergman, a man Witter has actually beaten? And if there is one little ray of hope for Junior Witter, it is the fact that Judah was on the floor during that fight. He did stop Bergman in 4. Witter beat Bergman on points over 6 rounds. It was a good win over, at the time, a world-ranked opponent too. Junior Witter in the white trunks. Can he cause a sensation here against this speedy southpaw? He can be a real box of tricks, Witter. Was it all bravado, all the pre-fight talk? Or will he really be able to carry out some kind of battle plan here? Switch hitting all the time. Has a way sometimes of throwing punches, Witter, while looking at somebody about 5 rows back. He's a crazy kind of operator, isn't he, in there? But he's very open, and Judah is fast and powerful. Judah looking at the moment as if he's carrying out some kind of reconnaissance mission. And that was his first mean-looking shot with the left hand, but Witter's reflexes got him out of the way.
He can't even get his shots off, he's hesitating.
Witter with his hands right down by his sides, very, very dangerous. You need excellent reflexes to get away with that, and to do it in such quality as Judah is just a little bit chancy, to say the least.
But it's what he does. Witter have taken a gamble, they've taken the fight and the payday, and you have to admire him for that. But this is a big, big step up. Well, slippery, elusive Witter. Need to be. Judah's hand speed with that left looks ominous. Could Witter just walk onto one? There are times when I think Junior Witter ought to join the magic circle.
Well, he really is. Just going around the ring, hands by his side, chin exposed, but very difficult to hit.
It's audacious stuff, really. I should think Judah quite secretly admires his front.
When I say break,
When I say break, says Roy Francis, you break. Said with that gruff London voice, no nonsense, no mucking about.
Well, there's very little landing. Judah loading up, looking for that left hand, but unable to really land cleanly in that round.
Not much happened in that opening round. So far, so good for Witter. Mike Tyson relaxing in his sumptuous dressing room backstage. It really is state-of-the-art stuff. What are they doing there then, Glenn?
I think they're just loosening out the joints and the muscles, just a sort of stretching routine there, just to get him all, you know, to get his mobility.
Lou Savarese, who's mixed in world class, represents a stiffer test on this latest Tyson comeback. How good will he look this time? Tattoos everywhere. Tyson will be 34 next Friday. Second round, IBF Light Welterweight Championship. Bradford's Junior Witter in the white trunks is looking for what would be a world boxing sensation. It really would. Judah's talking to him in there now. Just trying to stay out the way, not really doing much by way of throwing punches himself, Witter.
keep that shot.
Stop talking, says Roy Francis. He doesn't like the verbals. That's a good right hand from Witter, and he did well with the left just before that. His own hand speed is not negligible.
No, he's quite fast, and you know, hits from all sorts of different angles. He does things that fighters don't really expect. Now it's a good left hand from Witter.
He's getting more offensive. He just slipped there, and I think that might have been a wet patch from the rain we had earlier. Certainly not a knockdown. Witter's doing more in this second round. I think he's surprised Judah a couple of times.
Well, he's very unorthodox, Junior Witter, and that could take Zab Judah by surprise. That's what Witter will be hoping to lead him on to something.
This may be a trickier fight for Judah than the one he had scheduled against Jason Rowland, whose skills are more orthodox. No disrespect to Jason there, but a lot of fighters have found Witter quite hard to work out, certainly among the domestic light welterweights. Well, we haven't seen Zab Judah manage to go through the gears yet. He looked a bit tentative himself, as if he's trying to work it all out. Good left of the body from him. That's good stuff from Witter. A couple of rights to the body.
Well, Witter will be hoping he can frustrate Judah and then just lead him onto a punch. Tried with the right uppercut.
This is Witter's round so far. Judah snarling at him through the gum shield. Last few seconds of the round. This is injuring Judah's pride a little, I think, at the moment. Doesn't like it. I think something is ticking away in there and about to explode.
Well, it is, but what is happening is Judah's starting to drop his hands as well, which is a mistake. He's got to keep to what he does best.
Made him miss again. Real box of tricks. But 12 rounds is a long time to carry out this kind of a strategy. That's Witter's round for me, without dispute, quite honestly. What do you think, Glenn?
Yep, I would agree with you, Ian. He did the better of it. It was stealing points and just trying to get the shots in and then get away, but it was decent work from Witter. He landed some nice punches.
Let's have a look at the verbals going on here. There was a warning from the referee to Junior Witter. What are they saying? Do you think it's an invitation to the Christmas party? Something like
Something like that, yeah. Just asking his address for the Christmas cards.
I think we do know what Roy Francis is saying. He's not impressed. And then Judah, well, perhaps he should have been cautioned as well.
Well, he's getting frustrated there. He was only snarling, getting frustrated. But look, starting to drop his hands. And Witter will like that. Witter will enjoy that if he does. Leave his chin exposed.
Brendan Ingles in the corner there. Chip had a slightly trickier time. Johnny Nelson apart, world cruiserweight champion since the departure of Naseem Hamed. What a feather in their cap if Witter was to somehow triumph here. I think we'd never hear the end of it. But you find yourself wishing him well. It takes guts to go in with a fella like this, and he hasn't had the big treatment, Junior Witter, either. People like Ricky Hatton have had nearly all the projection in this division, and he'll be a very interested spectator somewhere tonight. I don't know if he's here, haven't seen him.
And there's a nice quick right uppercut landing from Witter. Just looking to still try and draw Judah onto something.
He just looks at the moment, Judah, and it may only be for the moment, a little bamboozled by all of this, doesn't he? I don't think he's seen anything quite like this.
Well, that was very similar to Naseem Hamed when he came on the scene. Fighters didn't know what to expect, and he could beat them because of that. And this is something that Junior Witter is trying to do.
It's a great showcase, this, for Witter. It's one of those fights where he could gain even in defeat, because this fight is going out in the United States, and I bet the American commentators are saying, hello, here we've got another Naseem Hamed here.
Well, I'm sure they are. And he's not doing anything wrong really at the minute. Witter keeping out of the way of Judah's big punches, getting little counters in of his own, and managing to frustrate Judah.
Gets there with a body shot, Judah, but only a single shot. And at the moment, he's finding it hard to dazzle the sub Judah. There's a good left hand from them, though. Witter mustn't get overconfident. He'll have to keep his concentration. Fighting in this quality, it might just take one error, and everything could go away from him.
Just a warning for a low blow there.
Time out. Yeah, lowish blow. That's Judah's. You okay? You sure? He says. Yep. And on they go. Witter still indulging in moments of showmanship. He can't help it in there. It's in his nature. And you can't blame him for that. It's part of what helps him to get through. It's part of his fighting psyche. It's not like a good right uppercut. Judah again snarled at him. Well, he's finding it really hard to land, isn't he, the champion?
He is, and he's really enjoying himself. A little bit of an alley shuffle in there as well from Witter, and another decent sort of round from Witter.
Well, this is proving a bit embarrassing so far for Zab Judah. Meanwhile, Savarese backstage. Lou Savarese, Mike Tyson's opponent tonight, having his hands bandaged, and the ritual here is that somebody from the opposite camp sees that the bandaging is done correctly and there's not too much used. And the person doing that was Crocodile, Steve Fitch, Mike Tyson's #1 cheerleader.
No matter what Drew's fight does, we go on.
Big Italian-American who seems unlikely to be intimidated. Mind you, we've said that a few times before and been wrong.
Well, it's amazing what facing Mike Tyson can do to a boxer, and you know, they do get intimidated.
Did hold George Foreman to a split decision, Lou Savarese. Here's the 4th round. Judah's corner, I think, will have told him, look, let's try and get on with things here a little. But Witter will be looking for fast counters. He's not really a hitter, as his nickname would suggest. Junior the Hitter Witter is that nickname, because he's only had 4 knockouts, but I've seen him look as if he does pack a dig on occasions.
Well, he does seem to, when he gets his balance right, when he plants his feet a little bit, he can, you know, land with a good punch. But often, you know, he doesn't get that power because he is moving all the time, and you really need to plant your feet to get the power.
Witter can only be encouraged that at this elite level, his style so far seems to be working and passing the test. Overconfidence and complacency might be problems. There's another problem now. The lights are on the blink. I don't know if some of the rain from earlier on's got into them. Well, I think Judah, whatever else happens here in the rest of this contest, is obviously not the finished article yet, is he?
No, not yet, but you know, Witter's made it very difficult for him. Lots of movement, good reflexes, catching him on the way in, and you know, just getting a little hypnotized by the work of Witter, not doing or not fighting his own fight. Zab Judah.
Even little make-believe Ali-style shuffles coming from Junior Witter.
Judah trying to go to the body. It's a bigger target. It's harder to move your body out the way. So that's what he's trying to make a target of, and you know, that's good thinking from him.
Switching again, all the time switching. And a sneak little jab, this time from the southpaw stance from Witter. And it's not just show, he's thinking, and he's thinking hard, and he's concentrating hard. He's trying to work to a plan. He's trying to confuse and bamboozle Zab Judah, never letting him get set. So far, so good. But if Zab Judah's as good as everybody says he is, you would think at some point he might start to find some answers.
Well, Zab Judah's done some effective work to the body in this round.
Light welterweight world scene. Looking like this at the moment, the very good Costa Siu, who's going to fight Julio Cesar Chavez at the end of July. A lot of people raising their eyebrows at that. Chavez pretty shot now. Sharbe Mitchell, the WBA champion. Zab Judah fighting here, defending his IBF title. Randall Bailey is a bit of a puncher, is the WBO champion at the moment, and looking down the more domestic level fighters. Commonwealth is Eamon McGee, British Jason Rowland, and we've got Ricky Hatton on the upgrade and on the verge of joining that list. Jason Rowland, who, as I said earlier, should have been in the ring with Judah tonight, but he's injured. So it's this young fella. He's doing well, isn't he?
Yes, he is doing well. He's certainly, making it pretty negative for Judah to get his boxing going. And Judah not comfortable in there, not knowing what to expect, and Witter's managing to catch Judah from time to time.
Witter has to remember to do enough work himself. It can't all be negative posing and slippery elusiveness. If he can, he's got to punch himself, land and get away. Judah's 22 wins so far, 17 have come by knockout. He's beaten people like Darryl Tyson and Mickey Ward. He was the fellow in that terrific fight with Shane Neary, and he stopped Neary with his body punching. Zab Judah outpointed him. It was a good win. Again, made to miss Judah, even with his fast hand. And once more, he's not used to this.
Yes, but also Witter missing quite a bit as well. Just flicking out that jab, not really landing with any authority.
He's got to be positive. Again, the body shot from Judah. He's the one who's taking the fight to Witter, even if he's not landing with all of these.
Well, he's still landing with more for me, Judah, to the body. Witter missing, just snaking out that jab, but not really connecting with it.
Witter's problem is, if he stays in there close for too long to engage Judah, he could find himself wickedly countered. But at the moment, Judah's being made to look anything but the young phenomenon who had all these wildly excessive reviews before he got here.
Well, it's pretty difficult for him to do that because Witter's not standing with him and fighting. Witter's on a constant movement course, so that's difficult.
Oh, gum shield knocked out by the left hand. Witter, problem there, and a right. Now he's in a spot of bother. That was a biggish shot. Now this is the first real crisis in the fight for Witter. He's kept it together, he's kept his head there. Another left hand gets through, and there's a little lull in the action. And Witter, that's come at an opportune moment for him, just to have that gum shield wiped off and put back in again. It was a big shot.
Yes, it was a decent shot. Witter took it all right. It just seemed it didn't catch him really flush, just catch him on the face more to dislodge the gum shield. But just showing that he can finally get to Witter.
There's one or two signs here that Zab Judah is starting to work out Junior Witter. It's taken him a while to solve the problems. And it's Judah's round. Well, it's a difficult time in the fight, this, for Witter.
Yes, there it was. Good left hand from Judah, knocking the gum shield out. Good, just over top of the southpaw jab from Witter, just flicking that punch out. Judah timed it well and come back with a good left hand.
It was a spectacular shot in more ways than one. The punch and the camera work. Look at that. Green gum shield sent tumbling onto the canvas. Now Judah, now what's he doing now?
He's just dancing over to the camera to have a little look into the lens, I think.
Some people have called him the second coming of Pernell Whitaker, who is a multi-weight world champion of recent times, but sometimes a bit of a negative one. Some people might cynically say we don't want a second coming of Pernell Whitaker, frankly. Black Trunks, remember, the defending champion. Zab Judah of New York, co-managed by Lou Duver, 78 now, Lou, and Shelley Finkel.
I think it's important for Judah to start upping the tempo now. He needs to try and keep a constant pressure on Witter. That's his best chance of catching Witter.
Getting there with the right hand as well, Judah. He's one of 7 brothers who all box. And if he comes through this, he might have to fight Teron Millett, who was stripped of this title, never lost it in the ring, and has legal backing now to be next in line. Oh, he was looking for a really big left hand there, and luckily for Witter, his reflexes got him out the way of it. It's the 6th round.
Well, he does look dangerous when he loads that left hand up. It's a fast punch, puts a lot of power behind it.
Landing all the punches that matter at the moment, Judah. These are just little pea shooter jabs, really. Flicked out jabs from Witter. He'll need to do more. After doing well for 4 rounds, the reality of the challenge is coming into sharper focus for Witter now. It's the sort of boxing equivalent of ducking and diving, isn't it, what Witter's up to in there? Pickpocket tactics.
Yes, very much so, but it can be effective. It can disrupt a fighter's concentration. It's something that the Engle can't believe in a lot.
Hey, I think anything that gets him through is okay.
Most definitely.
In a fight like this.
That's what he has to do. He has to try and do the move tactic. That's important for him. He doesn't need to stand around with Judah.
Judas gets there with a heavy-looking body shot as well now. Witter's become fairly negative at this stage. But he really is being asked to step up in one go about 3 levels from anything he's done before, Junior Witter. You've got to bear that in mind watching this fight. And he has come in at 9 days' notice. And coming up after this one, Mike Tyson. This is him backstage in his dressing room right now. Well, he looks ready. I bet you're glad it's not you facing him, aren't you? Well, I know you have, in sparring and all that.
I could do with the money at the minute. Yeah, I'm pretty glad it's not me.
Okay.
I think you should stick out here, Glenn, on this.
I think I will. I think I will.
You got something for him, King. Like, come on, King. Real life.
Well, we wondered about what kind of shape he'd be in for this fight. He looks in excellent shape, maybe ominously for Mr. Savarese. Here's the 7th round. Judah pulling away now, pulling into a lead against Bradford's Junior Witter.
Yes, I've only got him pulling away by a small margin, just 1 point on my card, but a good left hand again from Judah, who's just getting that bit closer.
If Witter wants to make his dreams come true, he will have to do even more than he's done so far. And for me, he's done pretty splendidly up to this point. Out of range with his jab. That's a punch around the back of the head, quite honestly, from Judah.
Well, the referee quickly knows, it was really Witter's fault. He was running away from it. He was turning round, giving Judah no option, really.
Again, just half turning his back and caught by a right hand, Witter. Caught by the right over on those far ropes. Happily, the rain of earlier on has stopped. dry overhead at the moment. That's a good right hand by Witter, though. He got through. That might have been his best head shot so far. That had a bit of meat behind it. He needs more of that, though. He needs to be able to stop Judah on the way in. That's a decent left hand, too, from Witter. A short little punch. Coming up to a minute left in the 7th round.
Well, he needs a bit more of that. Witter, just a couple of successes in this round. But he can still manage to hit Judah.
Even if he loses this, Witter can think about fighting for the British Championship, something he hasn't even done yet. That's how big a step he's taking up here. And his standing could rise as well. Landing with a few more in this round, Witter. Doing a little better, and he's still got those reflexes. He boxes with his gloves very, very low, but he has the reflexes to go with it. That isn't true of some of the fighters, and that's a great left hand from Witter there, right at the end of the round. And he winks at Glenn McCrory and I as he goes back to his corner.
Well, a decent success for him at the end of the round. One good shot shooting out there. He did have a few successes in that round, Witter, just to keep his confidence up. Judah had some good shots early, and that was a good left hand from Judah. Judah working well to the body as well, and Witter doesn't really need to keep his head up like that. Judah will land shots if he does.
I'll tell you what, though, Witter's chin is passing the test at world level here, isn't it?
Yes, it is. He's been caught with some good punches from Judah, and hasn't looked as if he's been shook up yet.
You can only wish him well, really. 8th round. Second fight this year for Zab Judah. The first one was in February, the 4th round stoppage of Jan Bergman of South Africa to pick up this IBF title. A couple of first round wins last year over Juan Torres and David Sample. Witter now looking at people out of the ring and even waving to them. They're laughing. You can't believe it. You couldn't write this, could you?
Well, we've seen him do that before. That is one of the things he does. Look right out the way and then goes to throw a shot.
Even the guys in the gym say they're not sure quite what he's going to do next. He's changed styles about 3 times in 6 seconds there.
It really takes a great deal of self-confidence and self-belief to do this at this level.
Got him with a body shot here. A cautionary word for Witter. Never really be able to properly nail him and sustain an attack, though, Zab Judah here. He must feel like he's fighting an eel at times. Problem for Witter, though, in terms of trying to actually win the fight, is he needs to do more offensively, doesn't he?
Yes, that's the key. He needs to be busier than he is at the moment. It's good that he's keeping out of the way, he's not getting into any trouble, but he's got to start thinking about building up points.
I'm told our American colleagues on Showtime have given Judah every round so far. I can't agree with that.
No, I can't. They don't really go for the guy that skirts the ring that much. They like the aggressor but I think that's not quite there.
I think Witter certainly won the second, and you could argue about the third too. Always fierce combinations there. He really pounced on him. Judah there, punches in bunches at speed. Witter comes out smiling on the other side of it, leering through his gum shield. But I think he's finding it quite hard. He's trying desperately to keep up that veneer of self-confidence. Not a lot of love lost between them. I think Judah wanted to touch gloves there at the end of the round, and Witter just walked straight past him to the corner.
Well, he is a strange character, Junior Witter, a very confident one, but you know, that's how he fights. There's the good attack from Zab Judah, putting Witter under a bit of pressure there. Nice combination of punches, trying to get in close and be effective. That's the only way he really can. Difficult with a single punch to catch Witter because he's got good reflexes, but you need to try and push a few together.
Watch this, look at him look out of the ring here. Look, he's not looking at Zab Judah. He's in a world championship fight. What is he doing?
Well, it's amazing, but notice Judah never went for him. You know, he was very cautious, very wary, didn't know what was going on.
I'm sure he's thinking, who is this guy? Here's the 9th round, but Judah is winning the fight. I think we all have to agree on that. I've got him 3 points clear at the moment. What about you, Glenn?
Yes, I've got him 3 points also, Ian. Starting to pull away. Witter not being that effective. He's keeping well out the way. He's moving around. He's occasionally having a success, but not doing enough to win the rounds.
But I'll tell you something. He's proved that his chin is excellent, and wouldn't it be something if he came out of this even and went the full 12 rounds with Zab Judah?
Well, that would be great. That would be a great achievement from on this sort of notice. To do that would be excellent.
He could well emerge from this fight, Junior Witter, with a new respect. I suspect he already has, actually, on what he's done already. I wonder if he's actually enjoying the experience, if that is possible, at testing himself at this high level.
Well, he's a professional fighter, so I'd imagine that he is. He's up at the highest level. You know, they've got the world's media watching him, so you know he can enjoy himself a bit.
I suppose a bit like a batsman who's been playing minor counties cricket and suddenly finds himself up against the test fast bowler.
He was scared to death, wasn't he?
An analogy that's totally lost on Glenn.
Totally, completely.
Never played a game of cricket in his life. Oh well, shame you lose. And tries to come forward almost for the first time, Witter. I think he knows he's got to start trying to win a round or two here. He still can't really land cleanly that often, Judah. I think Witter's already frustrated Judah to the extent that the American is finding it hard here to put on a dazzling spectacular as he would have wanted to, I'm sure. Can't get to him.
Well, it's very, very hard. Good movement, footwork from Witter.
It's like trying to hit a Grand Prix car with a bag of rice at times. Again, he's looking out the ring. Look at him, Witter. He's looking up in about row, I don't know, Z somewhere. That's somebody or something imaginary in his mind, I suspect. Let's join Adam Smith, who has guests for us to meet.
Yes, unbelievable tactics from Junior Witter, but he's surviving, and we never thought he would.
No, but it's a good performance against a very good champion, but you hit the nail on the head. He's surviving. It's great to be elusive, but you've got to be offensive. You've got to try and win the fight and make this guy show you some respect. He's not doing that, and he's losing on points.
Gary, he may be losing, but he's giving Zab Judah a tough ride.
Yeah, but that's all he's doing. He's just giving him a tough ride. Judah's just trying to figure out ways to break him down and close him off, and then and try and beat him. All Witter's doing is just surviving and creating a hard object for Judah to be attacking and hitting.
How impressed with Zab Judah are you?
Fairly. He's up against an awkward opponent to show some style, but this is still winnable for Junior Witter. He's got 3 or 4 rounds to go. He's really going to win them.
He needs a knockout, Ian.
Still winnable, says Nicky Piper.
Well, he's still got a few rounds. You never know what he can do, but he's falling a bit behind now on points for me, and he's not landing as many competitive punches as he should. It's all very negative.
But for my money, this is what he does. This is his style, and coming in 9 days' notice against a fighter of this reputation, I think he's done well.
Yes, I agree with you. He's done very well. Just to be still in there at this stage.
But he will have to do more of an offensive nature if he is going to pick up championships at whatever level. Particularly when there are Americans scoring, they do go for the aggressor more and more. Judah's body punching has worked quite well for him. Witter has to try and go through the gears a bit here. Is he prepared to really gamble? Would he regard it as a success just to get through to the final bell, or is he going to throw the dice and go for it? What do you think, Glenn?
Well, he needs to throw the dice if he's going to try and pull up an upset. It's good work, but it's pretty negative.
That's a nice jab from Witter and away. Judah, for the most part, just getting there with single shots to the body. Not many combinations.
Well, it's very difficult against an elusive target to land a combination. You might get there with the first one, but you're out of range, so Judah's not really even loading up to throw them because he knows Witter will be aware.
It's the left hand thrown at good speed. Found the angle for it, Judah. Just kind of tripped over there. Gave a rather old-fashioned look to Witter, I think. Just left his foot in for a moment there, like a sly defender. I don't think I've ever seen anybody switch as much as Junior Witter does.
It's almost with every stride he moves away.
All kinds of celebrities here tonight, particularly from the boxing world. There's Frank Bruno and Chris Eubank, seemingly with plenty to talk about. There they are. It's appearing on the big screen, the picture. That's you're hearing the crowd reaction to them. Frank, who won his world title outdoors at Wembley on a famous night against Oliver McCall, of course, and Eubank, who boxed against Nigel Benn in front of, what was it, 44,000 at Old Trafford in '93, the drawn fight.
That's right, a lot of people in a wonderful atmosphere there that night.
Brendan Ingle doing the talking, Judah having a chat with somebody in the second row back there. These two have got a strong streak of the showman in them. I think we're at the point where Witter, if he was going to win this by some chance, would need a knockout.
Well, he started fast. Zab Judah, 2 good punches there right at the beginning of the round, looking for the fast shots now, Judah.
And a little smile playing around his lips as if he enjoyed his own work at that moment. Wanting the stoppage and says, look, I can try a few tricks of my own too. These are 2 like-minded pros, aren't they, in their mental approach to things, though Judah is far more the offensively minded one. Stop play acting, says Roy Francis.
Well, he's just trying to get him at his own game a little bit here, Judah.
It's almost as if they're having a private showboating contest, isn't it, the 2 of them?
Judah landing some decent punches in this round. Looks a bit sharper.
Does look as if Witter is intent mainly now on survival. Truth to tell, he's never been in serious trouble in the fight, has he?
No, he hasn't, not at any moment. He's been caught with a couple of good punches. He's took them well and just got on with it and never really looked that troubled.
So will this performance have people reassessing how good really Zab Judah is at this stage, do you think?
Well, I think it's difficult with this sort of opponent, because Witter is quite negative and puts in a lot of movement. That's hard for any fighter to negate.
What do you think a young Sugar Ray Leonard might have done with this kind of opponent then?
Well, even Sugar Ray Leonard, found it difficult at times when the opponents were different. It always takes styles to make fights.
Judah's looked talented, but not $1 million. Not in this one, anyway. Witter hasn't led him. Ducking and diving on those far ropes. Witter does have a very good chin, we now definitely know tonight. And great reflexes. He's needed both of those qualities. Whoa, says Judah there, screaming across the ring, hollering. And tell you what, some of the old timers will be recoiling in horror at some of this, won't they?
Yes, I think they would be, but it's good stuff, and it's getting the crowd whipped up a little bit.
There's certainly a lot of noise going on around the arena. 2 pretty big shots.
There's jumping in there, good right hand and straight left from Judah.
Anything you can do, I can do better, says Judah.
And there the showboating work from Judah, almost down on the floor there and then leaping into action.
But you can't hit me, says Witter. Not in that exchange anyway. An exaggerated bow from Zab Judah as they come out for the last round. I've got Judah 6 points ahead going into this final session.
Yeah, similar score. Then I have Ian 6 points, 108, 102.
Last 3 minutes. Witter in the white trunks. He's done Bradford proud tonight, though. But I have to say the nickname, the hitter Witter, is as inappropriate as Harold Bomber Graham used to be.
Well, it does rhyme, doesn't it?
It's a good effort from him, but I don't think it's going to be a winning effort. He's a long way behind. But when you see a fight like that on paper, sometimes you worry. A guy who's just operated mainly at domestic level in with a wannabe world superstar, and you were thinking, well, is he going to get hurt? Is it going to be horrible? Nothing of the sort. He's done well.
Well, and also I think Junior Witter will be a much better fighter for this experience. You know, I think he'll come out of this with a lot more confidence, and back down at domestic level, you know, be a lot better.
I'll tell you the fight I'd like to see, and I've said this for a while: Junior Witter against Ricky Hatton.
Well,
Cracking match.
That's the sort of fight that I think should be made. I think they both need a fight like that.
Good little crossroads fight, which probably means it won't happen. Let's hope it does, though. Witter's never really been able to exert any kind of pressure on Judah. He's made him look bad at times, he's made him miss. He's stopped him from dazzling, he's stopped him from shining, he's kept himself out of trouble in the main, but he isn't going to win here. Last 3/4 of a minute now, and Witter deserves to hear the final bell. He really does.
Yes, he does, and you would think that he certainly will. He's put up a good performance here. At times it's been a bit negative, but you know, he's still kept himself competitive. He's still landed with some decent punches. So on this sort of notice, with this type of opponent or world champion, it really is a good performance from Junior Witter.
1/4 of a minute from the final bell. Oh, Judah was looking for a haymaker there, trying to take him out, but he rather telegraphed it. I feel it'll be a more subtle punch than that catches Witter out, even late in the fight when he may be tiring a little. There goes that final bell. It's over. Not too much love lost between them before the fight and during it at times, but now there's a bit of mutual respect. Witter is lifted high by his cornermen, not I think because they think he's won the fight, but because he got through it and acquitted himself well without ever looking like he was going to get seriously hurt. So a personal thing, I say well done to Junior Witter. While they add up the scorecards, let's hear what the boys in the studio felt about it.
Well, Sab Judah is certainly not the second coming of Pernell Whittaker, that's for sure. His performance tonight lacks snap and authority. Junior Witter, on the other hand, performed very well, but he's got to learn how to win rounds rather than just surviving. And but overall, he performed very well. Very, very good performance. The fact that it happened so early in his professional career. But Sab Judah needs to improve greatly to be called a superstar.
Do you enjoy it, Jim?
Yeah, I did enjoy it, and I'm full of praise for Witter. He's come in at 9 days' notice, and he's made a future superstar the way everybody's talking, look fairly ordinary. A bit disappointed in Judah. I realise he's a lot better than he showed it tonight against a tricky opponent, but I thought his performance lacked imagination. He didn't put Witter under any pressure at times. He stopped him, he followed him around, and really just totally lacked a little bit of imagination. But I'm sure he's a lot better than he showed tonight.
If you are just joining us, the big one is next, Tyson against Savarese, but first we need to get the result to find out just how well Witter did against Zab Judah. Let's rejoin Glenn and Ian.
And we're still waiting for that announcement. Brandon Ingles trying to say something to us. And Brandon Ingles going on about how late notice it was for Junior Witter. It's the usual byplay that goes on. There's Simon Block, the Secretary of the British Boxing Board of Control, nearest the camera. And Jimmy Lennon Jr., the excellent announcer from the United States, will soon make his announcement. I don't think there's much doubt about it. Witter hasn't won the fight. I've got it 118-111 to Judah. What do you think?
Well, I've got it 6 points difference in favour, obviously, of Judah.
118-112. Yeah. Same kind of thing, isn't it? Usually argue more than that, don't we?
Don't we? Yeah.
So any time now, they'll come through with a decision. It's just a few seconds away. Judah's all smiles. He thinks he's won it. Yes, sir. What was the margin, I wonder? Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. We have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judging ringside, George Colon scores the bout 116 to 112. Judge John Coyle scores the bout 118 to 111, and Judge Urzo scores the bout 118 to 110. All three in favor of the winner. Still undefeated and still the IBF Junior Welterweight World Champion, Zab Super